On this exciting episode of Youth on the Move, we bring you a creative making a mark in the fashion industry and a group of young men with a venture born out of circumstance. In the bustling city of Nairobi, we meet Valerie Monyoncho, the founder of a fashion company that makes bespoke and fabulous wedding dresses for women in Kenya. Valerie shares her insight on what made her delve into the yet-to-be-exploited industry in the Kenyan market.
I am a fashion designer, specifically a bridal gown designer currently. That's who I am.
According to Valerie, inspiring business names are those that communicate a bold, daring objective. They are those that make you dream, and most inspiring ones read like a motto.
The name of my business is Ari by Tafari. It's a subsidiary business under House of Tafari Limited. Yes. So House of Tafari deals with creative services. We offer creative services. So there's photography, there's video, all that stuff. So now there's also the fashion wing. And that's when Ari by Tafari falls under.
Since childhood, Valerie was quite the creative.
I've always been an artist. I think ever since I was a kid, I used to love crafts. I used to love drawings. So there's so many paintings actually. I think I've stashed some of them somewhere, yeah. Then as I progressed, I knew I wanted to do something within the creative space, like something artistic, especially in regards to my career eventually. So of course that changed because when I was younger, I felt like I wanted to be a scientist. So I was so keen on doing science and I wanted to become a doctor. But then I knew I was going to be a doctor who's an artist, you know, and all that stuff. Then one time, I think in high school, I saw a friend of mine sketching saris, Indian saris. She was an Indian, so she was sketching Indian saris. And I got fascinated. I was like, wow, I think that is really cool. Like, how do you even come up with those ideas and put them on paper? So I said, let me start. So I started, had very horrible sketches. I think I stumbled on some of the samples. And then that's basically how the interest in fashion design started.
In her spare time, she learned how to sketch and sew and started making herself dresses. Today, she designs sparkly wedding gowns for the chic bride who isn't afraid to take risks.
In a nutshell, because it allows me as a designer to actually express myself and to, I think for lack of a better word, to test my ability, you know, constantly pushing the boundaries of the idea of garment construction. Because, you know, if I'm doing normal kitenges for everyday people, I mean, it gets monotonous. Same cut, same, you know, different things. But with gowns, you have something new to look forward to each and every time. You know, the silhouette may be the same, but volume might be different. Volume means more challenge. So there's that. And then also, one of the reasons actually that made me get into bridal gown design is the journey of the bride. Like, I think from the first bride that I had and just walking with her, and it's not even just about the clothes sometimes, it's about how are you, how is your headspace. So it's like I act like a therapist in that, you know, space. And I enjoyed it. I actually feel fulfilled when a bride comes and tells me, you really helped me walk through this stressful season, because that's usually a very stressful season for a lot of brides. So yeah, that's basically why I chose to venture into that.
Of course, just like fully fledged operations, business ideas need capital to thrive. Valerie discovered a creative approach to make this work.
You see, the beauty of this business is that I just need one person who can pay a deposit to buy the fabric, you do the job, and then, you know, you get paid. And then word of mouth can continue growing from there. So I think you don't necessarily need a lot of money. And you can start from home, because I actually started, like, I've been at home for the longest time. It's this year that I've decided to actually get this space, yeah. But previously to that, I was working from home. I was working from my parents' servants' quarter. And I started with just one client. So they came, gave me deposit, I went, bought the fabric. You pay the people who need to be paid, and then you can grow from there. Yeah. It'll take longer, but it's usually safer because you also are avoiding, investor challenges, let me say, for lack of a better word. Yeah.
There are a number of marketing options. Some methods are easier to execute than others. Some require time and planning. For Valerie,
best marketing is usually word of mouth. So currently a lot of the clients that I'm getting are also word of mouth, people who have worked with me before, and maybe somebody is looking for a bridal gown designer. So they say, oh, I know somebody, this is the person. But then also we've been heavily going on social media, a lot of social media. So whatever it takes, doing reels, having engaging conversations, showing behind the scenes work, of how we do what we do. I find that has actually gotten us a lot of queries. A lot of people are asking and trying to figure out, okay, so that and that. Like there's a client I'm currently working with who apparently told me that she has been following me for a very long time on social media. Like I didn't know her. So when she was ready to get married, she's like, I'm coming to you. So now we're already working together. So yeah, that's how they normally come. But you have to put yourself out there. You have to tell people, I do this, this is what I do. You have to show products of what you've done before. Yeah, that's the only way people can actually believe that you can do the job.
This young designer finds complete satisfaction in her work, especially when she is visualizing the different designs on canvas before springing her imagination into reality.
For me, I love working on the sketches and the ideas, and then when I see the final product, that makes me, I'm like, yes, we can do this again and again and again. To be honest, the in-between process can be very tedious because, it's a lot of technical stuff, a lot of cutting, a lot of, can see this drafting and using a lot of papers, and it can take a while. Even the stitching can be very tiring. But for me, from the beginning, the idea, the birthing of the idea, and then seeing the idea actually being present, I think that makes it worth it, makes the whole struggle worth it, yeah.
Valerie explains tailors and fashion designers are two common professions in the field of fashion. Although both types of profession help clients to make new garments, there is a distinct difference between them.
The difference, number one, is that how fundis would cut, or how a tailor would cut, and how a designer would cut is very different. So like you see, these pieces that I'm putting here, these are called patterns. So basically, you give me your design, I create a pattern based on that. Because a garment is like pieces. It's like a puzzle piece. So the patterning is creating the puzzle pieces for your garment. Okay. So I'm not just guessing when I'm placing the fabric to cut, because that's what a lot of tailors do. They'll just fold it, say, okay, your neck measurement, guessing. And that's why when you go for your fitting, you'll find so many errors, so many mistakes. But with a pattern, it helps me to be as accurate as possible with your measurements, yeah. And then also as a designer, there's value addition in terms of, I tell you, this particular design might not work for your body style, yeah, and this particular print might not be what you're looking for in terms of your event and your occasion. So I'm not just telling you, show me a picture and I stitch it for you. No, we go through the process of what exactly are you trying to achieve with this garment. And then for me, is to try and help you achieve that through the garment. So there's quite a number of differences between a fundi and a designer.
Those who dare to dream often have a bolder perspective in life and can turn the improbable into the possible. And in 10 years, Ari by Safari will have scaled high.
Hopefully we'll have added more tailors, expanded to even get a space that just allows a changing space for bridal, when brides come in to change. It's more, how do I say it, conducive, for lack of a better word, because this is like a workspace. It's a studio, it's a work studio. And you have a small corner where you can do your fitting and go. But if you can get a room that is now the whole changing experience, I think it will change the experience of a bride coming to get her custom piece. Yeah, if you've been to a bridal boutique, it looks very fancy, it's very elegant and relaxed, and so we're hoping to do that at least. And then maybe just actually selling ready to wear or ready-made gowns. God willing, we will be able to do that, not just locally, but even serve clients within the region and beyond. Yeah.
For this young woman, the sky is indeed the limit, one dress at a time. For those like Valerie, who are daring enough to venture into the glamorous yet rewarding world of fashion, here are some quick tips.
Number one, you need to have an eye for detail and an eye for aesthetic balance. What do I mean by that? Because you're going to be coming up with different ideas, you need to know how those ideas blend in with each other, okay? You need to understand the basics of art. What are the basics of art? The elements of art, line, balance, texture, aesthetics, all those, nitty-gritties are very important, especially if you want to venture into design, because you will meet textures in fabrics, colors, of course, in fabrics, colors in people's skin tone. So you need to understand how those two are going to blend and balance each other. The second thing, it would help if you have an understanding of garment construction. So even if you want to do design, I say sometimes it's good to sit with a tailor to understand how a basic, simple garment is actually put together. That will help you even when you're giving instructions to probably some of the people you're working with. You understand that these two pieces can work together, or these two pieces cannot work together because maybe this particular fabric is heavier than this other one. So understanding how garments are constructed is also very important. The other thing is hard work. Hard work. I was going to say work smart, but also hard work is very important. Like, you need to have a very good work ethic. Just because it is a creative field or an artistic field, there's a lot of high pressure. There's a lot of deadlines that need to be met. So if you're not the type of person who enjoys working a lot, I might say maybe we need to look at another profession. But despite the glitz and glamour, which is honestly like 0.5% of the job, there's a lot of work that goes into it, and you need to be prepared to put in the necessary effort to make yourself successful. So those are the tips that I would wish for you guys, and all the best.
On this week's segment of The Scoop, James Mumo will further expound on the dynamics of co-ownership in business.
Many times when you are starting a business, for most cases, the number of people you'll just divide by the number of people. So 100 divided by if you're 2 or if you're 3 or 4, whatever number. However, there are some businesses where one of the people getting into the business is contributing more. So before you even start the business, you will need to determine how much you're going to give to each person. So if someone is contributing, say, $1 million into the business, and you are contributing 200,000, and we're just talking monetary wise in this case, then one person is supposed to get 5 times as much as the one with 1 time. But one of the people who owns the business may be the one who's running that business every single day, and everyone else is probably doing their own jobs. So that may also be a determinant on how much that person gets when you are starting the business. There are pros and cons to having a partnership with other people, but over the experience that I've had as well in business, I feel it is important to get into business with like-minded people. And like-minded people has very little to do with the actual skills that the people have. So for instance, you'll have someone in the company who's really good at sales. You'll have another person who's really good at operations. You'll have another person who's really good with dealing with people. So these are 3 people who can actually come together and form a company because each of them has different strengths that they bring into the business. Biggest expense just when you're starting is to register the business. All the other expenses that come after that, whether you will decide to have an office in this part of town or another, how many employees you'll have, what IT equipment you'll have. All these are dependent on the company that you will form. And one good lesson that I'd love to pass to so many people is many times the grandiose plan that we have is not what will actually help the business to grow. So just making sure that your company is lean enough, just enough, whatever you need just to get to the next day, first of all, so that you don't put in all your money on the very first day and you have no idea where you're going to get customers from. You have no idea how the market looks like. You haven't done research and yet you've already poured 100,000 or $1 million into the business. This is a big risk as well.
A partnership comes into existence only when there is an agreement between the persons to carry out some lawful business and share the profits arising from there. After the break, it's a group of young men with an exciting venture.
Tomorrow on She.
When we talk about blended families, it can roll into any direction.
Due to unemployment at that time, or not having a very steady job, I had to go back home.
The older the child is, the harder it is even to refer to the other person as dad, like in the case that you have a single mom.
Those moments you feel that you need a little bit of help here and there, but then you know he's all you've got and you have to just woman up.
It's tomorrow at 8:30 p.m.
In these ever-busy streets of Nairobi, this group of 4 men discovered an entertaining way to earn money by turning government restrictions on crowds and gatherings to their advantage. When the light hits red, the roads become their stage.
Jina langu naitwa Duncan Busaka.
Mimi naitwa Madaga.
Kwa majina najulikana kama Collins Osuru. Jina ya group ni The Clan.
Being stuck in Nairobi's notorious traffics can be boring, but the Clan Acrobats are making it much more interesting. Since the onset of the pandemic, they took their act outside.
Hii venye tulianza kufanya kulikuwa na COVID. So tunajua hii mchezo yetu lazima tukusanye watu pamoja. Tulikuwa tunafanya entertainment kama kwa hoteli, najua kama kwa harusi nini, lakini venye COVID ilikuja, hiyo mambo ya kusanyana haikuwa. So ndio tukakuja tukabuni kitu, tukaangalia neti kitu gani tunaweza fanya disturb na hii kazi yetu na ile tupate do. Ndio tukabuni tukapata kuna lights, tukajua tukipiga lights kila mtu ako kwa gari peke yake, tutakuwa tunavaa mask tukiendea mwaga aje, hakuna msanyiko wa watu. Ndio sasa ikabidi tumeingilia hii.
On any given day, you'll find them busy in their element, doing what they know best.
Tupiga gymnastics, tunacheza pia vyombo. Vyombo ni kama hizi jugglings, kamba nini, hiyo ndio pati za vyombo. Pia gymnastics tunazipiga sana.
What made them head to the streets was an idea born out of circumstance, creativity, and sheer determination to provide for themselves regardless of their reality.
Corona vile imeingia, tukabili tuingie kwa neti, tuangalie wale wenzetu kama sisi wanacheza hii michezo nchi za nje. Tukaona Brazil watu wanacheza barabarani, tukaigiza pia sisi, tukajaribu hapa Kenya. Tumepata changamoto kiasi, mpaka sasa hivi tumeweza. Ona mpaka sasa hivi watu wengine wanatukopi. Pia wanapata kipato kwa sababu yetu sisi.
They each perform different roles, from juggling, rope skipping, to an interesting craft known as tinning. While Duncan is responsible for holding the weight.
Mimi pati yangu ni tanzi. Chini kuwabeba watu wote. Sio tumetrain sana. Mimi nimetrain karibu miaka 4 mfululizo. Alafu nikaanza hii kazi.
They perform in a number of places in and around the CBD, each carefully selected depending on time, weather and traffic.
Kuna wawili wetu yuko hapa, lakini wako kwa nini tu kwa program bado tu za group. Si ati wako kivyao, wako tu kwa program bado za group. Tunakuanga hapa kona na bado arboretum pia, yaya pia. Tunakuanga kwa hizo malight hadi tao saa zingine unaweza tupata.
A typical day for them begins early in the morning. Like most of us, their day is well calculated and ripe with determination.
So si huwa tunamka kitu saa moja hapo, ujitayarishe uoge, shaoga, unaanza kutoka nyumbani hadi ukija hadi hapa. Ukitoka hapa hivi kutoka hadi nyumbani hapa unatumia kitu kama 1 hour.
Before tuanze tunaamini most high sana. Kwa hivyo before tuanze lazima tupige dua.
Alafu hiyo kazi tunaanza kitu saa 3:30 hadi saa 8. Kienda saa 8 ndio tunaenda break. Kienda break tunarudi tena. Tunarudi hapo kitu saa 10 tupumzika 1 hour. Tunaipiga hadi 5:30 tunaenda nyumbani.
Even though they managed to get by, the clan encountered different degrees of gratitude from motorists.
Kuna wale wengine wao wenye wanatuangalia wanaona wanadharau kazi yetu. Si wote ndio nakwambia wanafurahia. Kuna wale wanadharau kazi yetu, mtu mwingine atakupata aseme kwa nini mliamua kufanya hii kazi. Lakini pia kuna wale wenye wanakupatia moral. Wanakwambia endelee hivyo hivyo, nyinyi msigive up. Kuna siku Mwenyezi Mungu atawafungulia njia. Kuna watu wengi hapa kwa hii barabara, hatuwezi sema wengi sana. Kuna mwenye anakupatia moral na kuna mwenye atakushusha moral. Sasa ule mwenye anakupatia moral atakufungulia kupatia chenye hii kwa sema mimi na hii, lakini nitakuachia mawaidha kidogo.
For these young enthusiasts, the road is their office and they take their job very seriously.
Yeah, sisi tumechukulia kama ofisi yetu. Tukiamka hapa tumechukulia kama ile kazi nyingine tu bado hii. Yeah, so tukiamka hapa ndio maana tunakuja hivyo mapema. Lazima ufike hapa mapema uifanye kwa sana ndio utapata do. Lazima ukuwe na bidii ndio utapata do.
Unemployment has become an endemic. Unlike most Kenyans, the clan Acrobats live satisfied knowing they can get by comfortably.
Kila mmoja hizi kosa kwenda na chini ya 1,000 ama 800. Kama siku ni mbaya sana tutapata 800 ama 600.
Even though the group enjoys performing, the roads are unpredictable with a plethora of challenges.
Challenge kama hizi gari unaweza pata kuna mtu amekuja, unajua hapa hivi watu kuna driver na kuna wengine wenye si driver pia. Unaweza pata mtu pengine akikuja, unajua kuna space hapa mbele. Unaweza pata mtu amesongesha hadi kwa space yetu, hatutaingia. Ama utapata ile kuna gari imekuja imebeba maji, kimwaga maji hapo, hatutaingia juu kuna maji imesimama pale. Sometimes utapata kuna jam, kuna jam hatuwezi cheza game. Itabidi tumetulia nje tu hapa hadi jam ikipungua ndio tunarudi tunaanza game tena. Kuna pia watu wa pikipiki. Unajua watu wa pikipiki most of the time wafati sheria au watumii lights kama hizi gari. Mtu anaweza kuja gari anataka kupita. Hivyo tunabambana nao, unaonesha kama unataka kuwachapa lakini sisi hatuna ile authority ya kuwachapa. Tunawaelezea tu lakini wana understand, lakini hivyo bado wasikii, wanakuja bado hivyo wanatusumbua. Siku za mvua tunangoja kama itakuwa imenyesha usiku, lazima ukiamka asubuhi utapata maji iko kwa barabara. Tutangoja ikauke, ikikauka tutaanza kazi hapo kutoka kitu saa 6 hadi tunaipiga non stop hadi 6 ndio tunaenda nyumbani.
On arrival, we noticed that the traffic police were at ease with their presence. Colin explains that at first this was not the case.
Tukianza hapa by that tulisumbuana na traffic sana. Hawakuwa wanataka tucheze hapa, juu walikuwa wanasema ni dangerous. Lakini sasa hivyo ilibidi tukue kitu ngumu juu sasa sisi kutoka tukiwa wadogo ndio kazi tumeisomea. Tunajua tu ndio kazi. Hii ndio tumeitrainia hadi tuko hivi. Hakuna hustle lingine yenye tunaweza ifanya kama si hii. Ndio maana tulisumbuana na wao, tukapambana na ile challenge, pia wale wakafika mahali wakatuelewa. Mpaka sasa hii ni marafiki zetu wanatuelewa, mpaka kuna time kuwa na jumps, kuna time traffic anakuja kutoa. Huwa tuna communicate na yeye, anatuambia mimi nitawapatia hii time kidogo mcheze, mkiona nainua mkono mjue nataka kuzitoa. Sasa hivyo ndio huwa tuna communicate na traffic. Tukasikizana hadi sasa hizi ni marafiki na traffic.
It was quite clear that regardless of the money, what truly drives them is the love of the craft.
So, hii ni tuseme ni talent. Na ni kitu tumetrainia, hii ndio inatulipia nyumba. So ukisema uke pale kwa nyumba, hakuna kitu uta benefit ama utaenda ufanye upate do. Itabidi tu umerauka hiyo asubuhi mapema ili tukuje hapa tutafute hiyo do. Yaani hauwezi taka kukaa juu, lazima ukisema ukae pale pia landlord anataka do. So itabidi tu umejikakamua ufike hapo ufanye, hadi kama umechoka itabidi ulazimishe mwili. You see, sometimes huwa tunachoka. Lakini hivyo tunavumilia na kupiga tu hivyo hadi tunapata riziki yetu ya kama siku ya leo.
The group has a junior team that they mentor into seasoned acrobats.
Kila Sunday wanakuja hapa pia tunaonyesha kidogo pia. Hata kama sisi kesho tutapatikana hatuko, watariti kama vile sisi tumeriti kama mandugu zetu wakubwa.
Their love for acrobats has trickled down to them nurturing young talents interested in venturing into street performance.
Kitu Sunday tunapiganga kwa street, tunazunguka Ungwaro tukipiga. Ndio kukuza hii talent. Najua saa zingine ukionekana unatembea na uko na jugglings, msee anafikiri wewe ni idola, wanakutake kama job, si seriously. Sasa unajua tukichukua watu wao tukizunguka nao hivi wanaona kumbe kuna talent. Na sasa hii talent ina pay. Si ati lazima uandike kwa ofisi, talent pia ina pay.
To keep themselves out of poverty, the group plans to keep performing for motorists even after the world slowly goes back to normal. But unlike before, they have much more up their sleeves.
Kuna performance date 6 na date 10 tuko na performance huko kwa mashule. Kwa hivyo si hapa tu peke yake, unaweza tuitia kwa event zako, kwa harusi, kwa shule.
Before we go, Colin had this to say.
So wale maboys wenye wako mtaa, ile advice naweza wapatia ni si lazima uandikwe kazi na mtu kwa ofisi ndio ionekane ni kazi yako. Kama sisi hapa, sisi hatujaandikwa hapa. Sisi wenyewe tumepatana, tukabuni, tukaelewana, tukasema nini ambacho tunaweza fanya ili tu make dough. Tusikie tu idling nyumbani. Juu sahi nini kufanya kazi, kuandika na mtu kazi iko na masharti mingi sana. So sisi tuliamua tujiandike sisi wenyewe na tunaamini hii kazi yetu iko siku itatufungulia njia. Kuje angalau tutakuja kuinuliwa ama tutapata sponsor yote atusponsor. Na hapo tutakuwa tume make step nyingine poa. So wale maboy wenye wako mtaa, don't give up. Unaweza pata kitu yoyote, hata uanze kuuza njugu nini, weke Mwenyezi Mungu mbele, kila kitu itakuwa poa, utalipa nyumba. Usingoje uandikwe ama nini, usingoje uibe kitu ya mtu. Juu sasa ni noma, utaiba kitu ya mtu utapigwa risasi uliwe bure. Lakini ukijiweka nguvu mwenyewe, hakuna yani sioni kama unaweza kosa kazi. Kazi ni mingi sana yenyewe wewe mwenyewe unaweza jiandika na upate ya kulipa nyumba na ukule. So kwa nyumbani jipatie moral, tafuta kitu chochote cha kufanya, usikae tu nyumbani kufanya mashughuli zenye zitakusaidia.
It's stories like this that gives us the green light to follow our dreams. We have come to the end of our show. Remember, you can share your thoughts, questions and comments to the SMS line 20316 or WhatsApp 0786 316 316. Also, you can now stream your favorite programs on the go on our YouTube page, Family Media. As you enjoy, remember to like, share and subscribe and hit the notification button to get instant reminders of our latest show. As always, keep it Family Media.